And our top focus on world DNA. Donald Trump is projected to win the South Carolina Republican primary and defeat lone rival Nikki Haley in her home state. Well, the former president has emerged victorious in all of the GOP nominating competitions held so far. He says he has never seen the Republican Party as unified as it is right now.
Thank you very much. Wow. That is really something. This was a little sooner than we anticipated. It was an even bigger win than we anticipated. And I was just informed that we got double the number of votes that has ever been received in the great state of South Carolina. So that's pretty good. So it's a record times two, and there's something going on in the country. Some really great things are going on.
There were 50 delegates up for grabs in South Carolina, and this win has brought the Republican frontrunner one step closer to securing the 1,215 delegates he needs for the presidential nomination. Well, the competition was open to all registered voters, but anyone who voted in the state's Democratic primary on February 3rd was not allowed to participate. Well, Trump is now even better positioned heading to Super Tuesday as he continues his unbeaten streak. This victory has multiplied his likelihood to succeed in the 15-state voting bonanza on March 5th. But this defeat on her home turf has left Haley to consider her dwindling options. Her already struggling campaign is now likely to face renewed pressure. But the former South Carolina governor has vowed to remain in the race at least through the high-stake Super Tuesday. As she addressed the supporters post her crushing defeat, Haley continued to place all her bets on the argument that she is best poised to win over Biden in the month of November.
America will come apart if we make the wrong choices. This has never been about me or my political future. We need to beat Joe Biden in November. I don't believe Donald Trump can beat Joe Biden.
While Trump has an iron grip on the Republican base, it might not be enough to guarantee a win in November's election. Well, South Carolina was a chance for him to show that he can expand his coalition beyond voters who are white, older, and without a college degree. But nearly 9 in 10 South Carolina primary voters were white, making it difficult to see if Trump has made inroads with black voters he attempted to win over.
And then I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing, but it possibly, I don't know, maybe there's something there.
And for more on this, we're now being joined by Ray Locker, who's a journalist and an author, and he's joining us live from South Carolina. Thanks very much for taking our time and being here with us today, Mr. Locker. I want to start by asking you that the American media reports say that Trump is projected to win the South Carolina primary. Talk to us about how the victory cements Trump's front-runner status to face Biden in the upcoming elections in the month of November in the U.S.
Well, what you mentioned earlier is he gets 44 out of the 50 delegates at stake. So basically, South Carolina is a winner-take-all primary. You finish first, you get the most votes, you get the delegates. There's nobody else who's going to get delegates. So he continues to accumulate the delegates he needs to get the nomination, and that's not going to change. And I don't think anybody's really surprised by today's outcome.
Right, Mr. Locker, this was anticipated, but Trump has an iron grip on the Republican base, like you mentioned. Do you think that he was successful in making inroads with the black voters that he attempted to win over?
No, absolutely not. I mean, there's very little indication that significant numbers of black voters voted today in South Carolina in the Republican primary. And if you look at the weak spots for Trump, major urban areas, Richland County, where the capital city of Columbia is, Beaufort County, where there's a lot of white retirees from elsewhere, Charleston County, another more cosmopolitan area. He lost all of those to Haley. He didn't really make any inroads in groups other than older white voters without a college education.
Right. Mr. Lockhart, Trump has defeated Nikki Haley in a home turf. Well, she was the governor of South Carolina from 2011 to 2017. But just a short time ago, she clearly said that she will continue to fight on. Your assessment of Haley's statements that she will fight on and campaign in the upcoming Super Tuesday on March 5th?
Well, she's been saying that, and I have no reason to believe she's going to quit. But eventually she's going to run out of money. She can't do significant amounts of advertising in all of those states because they're very expensive. And so she's going to have basically a ghost of a campaign until she decides to quit. And the big question is, how strongly is she going to continue her campaign against Trump and try to exploit his weaknesses, for some kind of audience? I don't know who it is right now. I think, that's what she needs to do if she's going to have any success at all.
Right, but Nikki Haley was also extremely confident for the South Carolina primary. If you can list out some of the factors as to why Haley was not able to resonate with the voters in South Carolina.
Because Trump has the lock on the Republican primary electorate. And even Haley, up until recently, did nothing to break that lock. All the people who were running for the Republican nomination knew that he had problems, and they failed to try to exploit them. When he got indicted first, second, third, fourth times, they criticized the prosecutors when, to many people, I'd say the majority of Americans, Trump is a criminal. And so she defends him and tries to play cute games of trying to exploit whatever differences they have. She tried to do that for too long, didn't gain any traction, and now she's paying for it.
Right, Mr. Logger, we'll have to wait and see how things pan out on Super Tuesday, but thanks very much for taking our time and joining us here on WION.
Thanks for having me.